Jen, do you have me set up to share screen when I'm ready?
You go right ahead whenever you're ready.
So good morning, everyone, and I'm so glad to see, again, quite a variety of people here. And as Jen mentioned, I will be talking about visitors and travel marketing generally, but we'll think about how this applies to all businesses, and the thought process will be very similar. So I'm Crystal Hitchings. I work for Sunrise County Economic Council. I am the director of their Community Infrastructure and Promotion Program. And some of you know me through working with Down East Acadia Regional Tourism, and we still do that as part of the infrastructure and promotion program. So I'm going to share my screen with you.
And just one mention that I forgot before we switch over. If you have any questions or would like to make a comment, I am sure that Crystal will not mind if you just jump right in and do so. But if you're not comfortable doing that, there's a little talk bubble down at the bottom of the screen that says chat. If you just click on that and type into the chat window, I am going to be keeping track of what goes on there. So I am more than happy to ask Crystal questions or interrupt her. So please feel free to use that feature.
All right. So again, speaking from Down East Acadia Regional Tourism marketing perspective, Down East Acadia Regional Tourism is a collaboration of community organizations that promote the region, the entire Down East Acadia region, which is Washington and Hancock counties. And one of their underlying missions is supporting economic development through promotion of the region, focusing especially on cultural and natural heritage resources. And I just wanted to quickly give a background of what does this mean? What is the Down East Acadia region? It is one of the 8 tourism regions that are designated by the Maine Office of Tourism. And each of these regions are supported mainly by Maine Office of Tourism through lodging taxes. And so as a directive, Down East Acadia Regional Tourism is mainly a marketing and promotion arm at this time, but is looking more into development and management of these cultural and heritage resources. And I think one way to apply that thought process to other businesses is thinking about as a resource, a product. What is your product that you're trying to promote? So Down East Acadia region is, again, all of Washington and Hancock County. And I'm showing you this slide because I just want to share visually some of the marketing tools that Down East Acadia has created through their branding. And some of you may have attended the branding program last week. Or sorry, the last time, whenever it occurred, I forget now. So Down East Acadia promotes Washington and Hancock counties. Our goal is to promote it as an exemplary destination where people want to come to live, work, or play. Mainly it's Down East Acadia is charged with the play part, but I think the live and work part is probably more important. And if you don't have a great place to live and work, it may not be a great place to play. And in general, Down East Acadia supports regional initiatives to promote the area and also in developing and managing those resources. So how DART does it, and DART is short for Down East Acadia Regional Tourism, through branding, and many of these topics we've talked about in some of the other workshops, telling your unique story. What is the personality, what is special and different about your product, and in this case, our destination. So again, regional marketing and promotion, both through paid and organic tools. Paid is fairly straightforward. Organic is when others find and then share and promote on their own experiences that they may have had, or things that they see that inspire them about the product, or in this case, our destination. Down East Acadia also follows and interprets tourism trends, tourism data, and utilizes that to define and guide marketing programs. What is it that we're marketing, and how, and to whom? So I'm going to talk today about defining and connecting with your target market. Who are your customers? And in this case, why are they traveling? Who is traveling and why? And in some cases that are not tourism businesses, you might ask yourself, who is seeking the product, the type of product that I have to sell? And why do they want it? And in the case of traveling, and also in many other businesses, what do they want to experience? What do they want from that product? There's always an emotional, personal experience that inspires them to purchase that product, or in this case, come to this destination. What do they want to get out of it? Both physically, what do they want to do? How do they want to feel? And then we'll talk about what tools are used to research and plan these trips. And again, some of this will cross over into other businesses, but a lot of it will be tourism related. What is it that determines people's choice? How do they decide on your product or our destination? And then once you know who are your customers, what are they looking for? Then you need to know, how do we reach them? Where are they? Where are they looking? Where are they seeing our advertising? Some of the most important research tools that Down East Acadia Regional Tourism and the travel and hospitality world uses, in Maine at least, are the Maine Office of Tourism. They put out seasonal and annual reports, both on the entire state and on each of the regions. Destinations International, U.S. Travel Association, and Skift. Skift is also an international blog site that provides a lot of tourism trends. And this screenshot is to show you on the Maine Office of Tourism website, which is called Visit Maine. There is a tourism partners tab, very low down on the website. And if you go there, click on research, and that will show you where all of these, many of the tools that I'm going to talk about today are located there. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about, I was going to say post-COVID, but I guess it's current COVID. And then we'll see how things go post-COVID. And then I'm going to get into some of the trends that existed up until January, February. So post-COVID, we're learning from, this is a U.S. Travel Association research, more people are going to be traveling by car. You may have already determined this. People are going to travel by car. They're going to go to places that are closer to home, staycations and regional vacations. Of the people surveyed, approximately a third said they're willing to drive up to 300 miles. And that is not up a significant amount, but 6% or 8%, that could be significant. 300 miles from here, where does that get you? New York, roughly, maybe? So later when we go through some of the trends, we'll notice that that may not significantly change some of the things that are already happening here. That depends, of course, on what people encounter when they're trying to get into Maine. And then a smaller amount, but still fairly a significant amount, are saying that they're willing to drive at least 500 miles. Younger travelers are most likely to resume travel. That makes sense. However, people in the slightly older age bracket, 50 to 64, are going to be the ones that are more likely to travel domestically. Younger travelers are going to be more likely to travel abroad.
And if I could just interrupt for a second, Crystal, just as a reminder to folks that even if you are not necessarily operating a tourism-related business, these are travelers who are going to be potentially coming past your storefront or coming into your area and may still need your, not only may need your services, but the trends are the same, regardless of what business you're in. So even though it's talking about the travel or people traveling, travel industry, that kind of thing, it still is, it still has value for everyone to know what's going on at this point, especially since things have changed so much.
Correct. And many of you know that online sales, takeout, outdoor dining, those are the sorts of things that are happening and changing rapidly now. and so those things you may already know about how to work into your business model. But as Jen was mentioning, yes, absolutely. People who are traveling here are going to need all of these types of services. And there is, we don't have necessarily the definite research yet, but we are coming to understand that people are going to be moving. People will be leaving cities and going to more rural locations. And so for some of you who operate businesses or programs that are more likely to apply to residents, perhaps there will be more residents in the future, or in regard to the construction industry, maybe there will be more people who are renovating or building summer homes. They may want to come and stay here more as things shake out. So in the near future, we'll be looking at more local or staycations, and people are going to be traveling to known and trusted destinations. And part of that is they want to go to places and they want to patronize businesses that show that they care about their visitors. They care about their safety, they care about their experience, and they care about connecting and relating with their visitors. Not just a sale. This is about relationship building now, building trust and building long-term relationships. Travelers are going to be looking for open, uncrowded spaces and outdoor adventures. And again, that applies to other businesses because this is a place where that exists, and we anticipate more people will be wanting that type of experience and theoretically coming to places like down East Acadia. People will be looking for longer term or immersive travel experiences. They won't be hopping from destination to destination as many have done in the past. It's safer to go one place, stay there for a while, and really experience that place. Flexible bookings are going to be more and more critical, especially as over the next year or so, as things are uncertain. We don't know what will change and when. So people are more likely to book online. They're more likely to do a lot of pre-travel research online. They want to know where they're going, what is it like there. And this will apply to businesses as well. People want to know before they come into your store, what are you doing to take care of them? What are the options for them to purchase products where they don't necessarily have to go into a crowd? How are you helping them handle this situation? So keeping all of that in mind, I'm going to talk a bit about what has been happening right up through 2019. And it's important to keep in mind just sort of where we have been going and anticipating some of the things that I just spoke about. I do have a sense that some of these trends will not change dramatically for us here in Maine. We'll learn, but as I talk, think about that. So just generally in the state of Maine, we had 37 million visitors in 2019. 21 million of those, almost 22, were overnight visitors. And that's important because overnight visitors certainly spend more. They will stay longer and therefore patronize more businesses, have more experiences, and potentially have more opportunity to follow up with the place, come back, and possibly become residents or long-term summer residents. So Canadian visitors, there's roughly 5 million Canadian visitors that come to the state of Maine. So keeping that in mind, Canada is an important area for marketing. Direct spending, $6.4 billion in direct spending on tourism dollars in the state of Maine last year. And out-of-state travelers, about 5 billion, Canadian 329 million. So that gives you a sense of in-state travel and how much in-state travelers have been spending. Supports 116,000 jobs, 2.8 billion in total earnings for those workers, and then $647 million in taxes generated for the state through travel. So you can see it's a fairly important industry in Maine. And I just wanted to show this briefly to show out-of-state residents, overnight versus day, and then Maine residents overnight versus day. So overnight, you see, it makes sense. Most of them are out of state. Day visitors are not roughly a third Mainers. And this is something that I definitely expect to see change. I anticipate we're going to see more Mainers and fewer out-of-staters. We'll see. That's my prediction. So visitor demographics, I'm not going to go through all of this, but I just want to show you that this information is here. It's on the Visit Maine website where I showed you the tourism partners. This is important, just starting to think about the thought process of how do you determine who is your target audience, your target customers. So in this case, we're going to say who is coming to Maine. And in other cases, you might say, who is buying your product now? And this is important information for you to keep in mind as you think about, are there new audience, new customers that you want to approach, or do you want to stay within the realm of existing audience? So you need to know who that is. The Maine Office of Tourism did a target market study, and essentially this is a study that gives an overview of the personalities of the people that come to Maine, that travel to Maine. And you want to think about this a little bit too as you're thinking about other products that you're marketing. What are the personalities? What are the driving forces behind your customers' purchases? What are they looking for? Not just a product, but what do they want to get out of that product? And their personality types have a little bit to do with that. And you'll see that balanced achievers and then genuine originals are the main audience that comes to the state of Maine already. And so I'll give you just a quick rundown of what those are. Balanced achievers, they're more interested in nature and culture, off the beaten path. And I highlight nature and culture because that is something that I think is going to expand in importance going forward. Some of their guiding life principles. Why are they seeking this product? Balance, status, creativity, adventure, being in tune with nature. Again, highlighted because I think that's really going to grow. And marketing receptivity. What are the messages that are appealing to this customer base? Unspoiled places and simplicity, and outdoors and nature are the ones that pop up as being things that I think are going to, and I say I think, and I shouldn't say it that way. Surveys say, as they say, survey says, these are the things that people are going to want. These are the things that are going to grow in importance. Genuine originals. And again, I anticipate that these are still the types of customers that are going to come to Maine. We may see a new trend occurring, but does not seem likely that these types of travelers or customers are going to stop coming here. So some of their vacation goals: nature, observing wildlife, new destinations, exposure to local people and culture, and local experiences. Again, this is something that we already do well here. And as you're thinking about other products, what is that experience? What is that unique or new experience that they may get through your product? Guiding life principles, again, being in tune with nature, that's not going to change. That is only going to grow. And the marketing messages that this demographic really appeals to, that is not going to change and only grow: unspoiled places, simplicity and lifestyle, and again, outdoors, outdoors, outdoors. And just briefly to show you where people have been coming from to this area, and why I say that this is not likely to change significantly. I shouldn't say significantly, but I anticipate that these trends will still continue, that people are coming here from New England and the Mid-Atlantic states. Again, Mid-Atlantic gets us well into that 300 to 500 mile range of travel. Canada, that's not really going to happen this summer probably, and we'll see how that goes over time. But then showing you Massachusetts and Maine, New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, those are our predominant locations where people are currently coming to us now. And this is important in thinking about, where are the people located who are your customers? Okay, so I just wanted to briefly show you that of the 8 tourism regions, Down East Acadia has consistently been the second most popular primary destination for people coming to Maine. The Maine Highlands are just below us. That is from Bangor north through Moosehead, or not Moosehead, Greenville, Baxter.
Krista, we have a question. Has DART determined or set up opportunities for exploration and discovery in our area?
Could you clarify a little bit what that means, what the question is?
Well, I'm not sure. Trish, can you give a little bit more info?
Well, when I saw the reasons why people come to visit nature and things like that, I just wondered how proactive DART is in, you know, we all know that we have great parks and we have the ocean and vistas and all of that. But is DART being more proactive about sending out, or Maine Office of Tourism? You know, it's good to see that we're the second most visited area, but you know, do we have touring set up, or is that just based on independent businesses starting those types of touring businesses? That
Yes,
would be, yeah. Crystal.
Yes, Down East Acadia is really a marketing and promotion arm. It would be up to individual businesses, but this is the kind of information that could help inform people who are potentially going to start a business, or who already may have a business and want to expand their offerings. This information helps them understand who their audience might be, and if our visitation is already predominantly based around outdoor recreation, it might give a little more confidence for a business to either start or expand in that realm. And so as marketing and promotion goes, the Down East Acadia Regional Tourism definitely highlights outdoor recreation, wide open spaces.
Right.
So we have one other question.
Yeah.
It says, how do you create character sheets and or obtain the details needed to create character sheets based off your market, such as the balanced achievers, etc.?
Yes, so that is a study that the Maine Office of Tourism commissioned from an independent consultant company, and so they would have spent quite a bit of money on that. And I do not know the answer to that, but that is something that I can definitely try to find out, is how do independent businesses or smaller groups, what are some of the research options that are available to them? And probably many industries have some consumer research out there, and I can try to help find some of those resources for you. But I should say that the Maine Office of Tourism conducted this study on the different personality types, and they broke it down and chose the 3 types that are the most opportune audience, who is looking for the types of experiences that this state and region have to offer, and Maine Office of Tourism chose to focus on those 3 audience types. There are definitely more. And I know that there was another study done in Canada similarly, and they came up with different audience types that they wanted to focus on. So let me try to follow up on that and get a little more detail for you. Okay, so this one I won't really go into. I just wanted to show that Down East Acadia is very similarly first-time visitors and repeat visitors. And that's important to know, because repeat visitors may be looking for They could be looking for the same experience that they had before. That may be why they want to come back, or they may be coming back because they saw things that they didn't have time to do and they want to explore new things. And new customers, new visitors would have not had any of those experiences. So what are some of the things that we would want to highlight and show them are the best, most exemplary opportunities here that would attract them in the first place? And again, when you're thinking about different types of customers, what is exemplary about your product, your service, your story that would attract your customers? Okay, so overnight leisure trips, thinking about visitation tourism, people generally come to Maine to see their friends and relatives and for outdoor recreation. So again, thinking about why are they coming here? What is the experience that they want to have? And this is a little wordle that was created by the Maine Office of Tourism through their study. What is it that Maine offers that's different and special? So views, outdoors, food, coast, lobster, nice. Just those are some of the experiences that people want to have here. And these are some of the things that evoke for them the personality, the opportunities in Maine. And then of all the places you could have gone, why did you choose Maine? Love. I'm not sure what that means, but I like it. So mountains, food, love, nice. Whatever that means. But then you can see parks, fishing, natural, hiking. These are all, again, outdoor recreation. And love is probably about connection with place, connection with people, family, good times.
Just as an FYI, when you create a Wordle, the words that are used the most are made the biggest. So whichever words are the largest are the ones that people used most often.
Yes, thank you. All right, and so of the people who came to Maine, this is sort of their interest, and then they were asked to prioritize their interests to become really the driving factor of what brought them here. So food, beverage, culinary, number one, and this is not unusual around the country. Touring, sightseeing, shopping, active outdoor activities, and you can see the rest. Those are the most important. So of those who want to do food and beverage, they want to eat lobster and seafood. They want Maine products, blueberries, maple syrup, unique Maine foods, whoopie pies, and they want to go to local brew pubs. Touring, or for those who said that they wanted to do touring and sightseeing when they came, and again, this was the second most important, sightseeing generally. And this is showing you from last year or 2018 to 2019, how things may have changed. Ocean views and rocky coast, mountain views, we do have mountains here, and driving, wildlife watching. So again, we're thinking about, these are why people come to Maine. Are these things that we have to offer them here in Down East Acadia? And in other businesses, thinking about, for instance, why would somebody build a house here? Why would somebody spend enough time here to take a class or have another type of longer immersive experience? And how can you incorporate this into some of your own thinking about marketing? How can you appeal to those desires through your own marketing? For those who wanted active outdoor activities, hiking, climbing, backpacking, state and national parks, biking, and camping. History and culture, this was a little lower down on the scale, but I know this is an important thing to us in this region and to many others, many individual businesses, so I wanted to include it. Historic sites and museums, arts, and local people, getting to know the culture. And then water activities, this was pretty low, but we do have a lot of water here, so I just wanted to show going to the beach, outdoor swimming, and canoeing and kayaking, fishing. Those are all things that we have in spades here. And how can we build upon those resources to encourage more people to come here and to linger when they're here, accessing other resources, and potentially leading to a desire to move here. How do people research their trips? How do people research their products? The internet, biggest thing you can see from 2008, it's stayed fairly consistent. Friends, relatives, and coworkers, so word of mouth, that's the second most important. And you can see again that stayed fairly consistent over the past decade. Social media, now from 2012 until 2015, in those 3 years, look at the jump that it made, 10% to 20%, and then all the way up to 27. Travel planning apps are starting to increase in popularity. Travel guides and brochures are still fairly used. It's starting to go up again. And think about this as you're thinking about where would you put your advertising. Of the people who use the internet, some of the websites that they use the most in researching this region. And again, as people are researching this region for visitation, they're looking at businesses, they're looking at services, they're looking at attractions, products, shopping, whatever it is that they're interested, tours, entertainment. So these are places where people could be advertising their products, their businesses, because we know that people who are interested in coming here, who might actually patronize those businesses, are looking in these locations. So now I will go through some very localized Down East Acadia trends. This is again from 2019. You can see we had 7.16 million visitors. Roughly half of those, a little bit over half, stayed overnight. Down East Acadia received 15% of all of the visitors that came to Maine, came to this region, and almost 18% of all of the overnight visitors came to this region. I think that's important, again, in realizing that this Down East Acadia is a destination that people are very interested in. And how do you find and how do you appeal to those people who might be interested in coming here? How do you push them over the edge and encourage them to come to this area, to choose your product while they're in this area? And those are the statistics of how much the economic impact of tourism, and it's still quite large here in Down East Acadia. I won't go into all of the details. This is again in the Maine Office of Tourism research that's online. You can see there's a difference between the demographics, the age, income, education, and employment of day visitors and overnight visitors. And this, I think, for some businesses might help you understand a little bit more well, it may help you just sort of in your thought process, again, that who is coming, why are they coming, and what are they looking for. People who came to Down East Acadia mainly come from Maine. They mainly come from Massachusetts. And within New England, they typically come from, or from the Mid-Atlantic, I should say, New York and Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It's very similar to the state overall. Primary purpose, why do they come? Outdoor recreation, shopping, seeing friends and relatives, and history and cultural tourism is ranking quite a bit higher in the Down East Acadia than it does in the state of Maine, twice as much actually. And primary purpose of overnight leisure trips for, so I'm sorry, the first one was day, and this is overnight. Outdoor recreation, it's very similar, except for holiday visits are up there a little more. They're not really coming here for shopping as much. And again, why? What is it that's driving people to come to Down East Acadia? Daytime visitors are coming more for touring and sightseeing, active outdoor activities, shopping, and food. And in overnight visitors, again, it's reflected that they're not really shopping and they're more interested in history and culture than they are in shopping. But the others are fairly much the same. And of those who are coming for touring or sightseeing, which is the #1 reason why people come to this area, scenic, just general sightseeing, enjoying the coast, mountains, and driving for pleasure. Those are day trends. Nighttime trends, pretty similar. Actually, all sort of in the same order. So that doesn't necessarily change for us. Outdoor activities, non-water, that was the number 2 reason people come here. And again, you can see it's pretty much the same for day and night, except for overnight visitors are going to be camping more than they're riding ATVs. For those who come here for food, which I believe was the 3rd most important thing, why people come here: lobster, blueberries, maple syrup, whoopie pies and moxie. And those are the day visitors, and night visitors, pretty much the same. Going to brew pubs is a little higher on the scale. Shopping, general malls, downtown. We are more of a downtown region, unique local goods. I'm not sure where we have very many outlets, but suppose in Ellsworth and Bar Harbor, perhaps. Antique shopping is fairly important for people in Down East Acadia. And for overnight visitors, they're looking more at souvenirs, downtown shopping, unique goods, and you can see antiques and arts and crafts are still fairly high up there. History and culture. Day visitors, quite a bit of them are going to museums and artisan exhibits and getting to know people. Visiting historic sites or museums, getting to know people is a little more important for people who come here overnight. So how do you use that in your messaging? Maybe thinking about how to appeal to that relationship that I mentioned earlier, that personal one-on-one relationship and trust. Now, this is interesting, the regional attractions that people are most interested in going to. Nighttime visitors under the orange bar, Acadia and Cadillac, no surprise. Reversing Falls, this is the one in Hancock. MDI, Main Beer Trail, Sunrise Trail. It gives you a sense of how many of the people that come to this region, and I forget the number that I gave you earlier, but of the millions of people that come here, what percentage roughly are getting to these other parts of the region? And that maybe gives you a little idea of who to appeal to, or how to encourage them to try different things. Day visitors, it's fairly similar, and Cadillac Mountain is in red. That means it's dropping in popularity, quite possibly because of it as it's increasing in crowdedness. And actually those day and night interests in locations are fairly similar. So what are some of the regional marketing tools that Down East Acadia uses? There is a True Maine Visitor Guide that has some space for advertising in it. The map, the visitor regional map, has lots of space for marketing in it. And I'm giving you this information as you're thinking about how do you reach people who are here? How do you reach people who are coming here as visitors, who will be traveling the region, potentially stopping at your businesses, and if they're staying longer or end up moving here or having a summer home here, how are those people finding the place and how can you reach them? DownEastAcadia.com is the main regional tourism website for the Down East Acadia area. And so that is the first place that people are sent to learn about this area, and you can advertise on that website for free, and it will also automatically populate the Maine Office of Tourism website for free. And at the end of this presentation, any of you who want assistance in learning how to set up your business listing can go ahead and stay on the line, and I'll walk you through that.
That's for tourism related businesses only though, yes?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you for clarifying that. The Maine Office of Tourism reviews the initial request for a listing, and it does have to be a tourism related business. Paid advertising, Down East Acadia publishes in, they create print advertising, digital banner ads, and some broadcast now. Social media is a very important platform and becoming more and more important. People are spending a lot more time on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and other channels that I don't know about and we don't use. Those are the three most important for Down East Acadia. And people are watching longer videos. They are spending more time on specific websites and web pages. So this is a good opportunity to get into some social media and digital marketing if you have a budget for that. We also put out e-newsletters, which go out to all of the people who request information about the region. And those e-newsletters typically will talk about a specific experience or area to experience and then drive visitors to the website where they can then search for businesses and services in the areas that they might want to be traveling to. Down East Acadia sends people to travel and trade shows to talk about the region and distribute the guide and the map. So those are opportunities for businesses to get their face out there to people who may be coming here to patronize them. Media tours. These are influencers and travel writers who will be writing magazine articles or posting on social media, writing blogs specifically about this region, and a couple of every year, typically a group of people are invited here and taken on a tour. This is a photograph of our last media tour that was focused on the Blue Hill Peninsula, and these 4 women came and spent 5 days visiting Mid-Coast and Down East. And they went home and wrote and blogged and about the region. So broadcast on Maine Public Radio has become a very important tool for Down East Acadia because we recognize that the region is a little more removed from southern parts of Maine, and this is a campaign to encourage more Mainers to visit the region. This has been happening for a few years now, but it's going to be even more important as people are staycationing and traveling more locally. Jen, what's the time? I just want to make sure I have
We're
time.
at 11:05.
11:05.
And just while I'm interrupting you, there was a question about, or a comment or question, would like to hear more about travel planning apps, which ones people are using most. Is there a guide or something that we could send out later that talks about the different apps?
Yes.
Okay, so we can get that out later on. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so broadcast Maine Public. I'm going to play just a couple. These are 9-second spots, so they're very quick, but I want to offer an example of how the region is promoting itself now during COVID, when people want to be social distancing and being out in open spaces and fresh air, which we think we have exemplary examples of these opportunities here. And so these are some of the ways in which we are trying to reach people to come here and hopefully patronize some of your businesses.
And Down East Acadia, fresh air, open spaces, clear waters. Your staycation awaits just a drive away. More at truemaine.net.
And Down East Acadia, inviting you to hike, bike, paddle, and swim. Choose your own Down East adventure. More at truemaine.net.
Morning Edition is made possible by your support, along with Down East Acadia, inviting you to explore the unexplored in your own backyard. Plan a new adventure at truemaine.net.
And if you remember some of the personality characteristics from the Genuine Originals and the Balanced Achievers, those advertising, the content is trying to appeal to some of the things that they express as being important to them. So we're reaching people who are already potentially coming here and appealing to the things that we have the best of that they might be looking for. These are some paid advertising. The top one is print that was put into Adventure Cycling magazine, and the bottom one is a digital banner ad. And so again, you can see how it's appealing to the outdoor adventure, exploration, doing something new, and those outdoor spaces. And the next few slides I'm going to take you through are similar. These are paid advertising examples of how Down East Acadia appeals to the desire for people to have open space, beautiful views, the ocean driving and general scenery, and real experiences with locals, doing what the locals do, seeing what the locals see. This is a cooperative advertisement that was put together. This is the Grand Lakes area, and this is an example of how your business might tag on to something that's already happening, that's already getting out there to, this goes out to 300,000 people across the world. This is the Maine Invites You magazine, which is the state of Maine's brochure. And you can see Washington County Community College, that's not a tourism business. Why did they put an advertisement in there? Hopefully appealing to people who may want to come here and stay for a while. Also, the broadband, Down East Economic Development. Why would you advertise broadband to visitors? It might help them think about, can I conduct business while I'm there? Can I post on my social media? Can I do the things that I need to do there? This is a Down East Acadia advertisement in Maine in Camping Guide. All right, now I'm going to share a couple of videos. This one is a short one that is intended to be posted on social media and drive people again to the website where they can learn more about the area, more places to travel, more businesses that they might patronize. And again, highlighting the outdoor experience and I think I have plenty of time to show you a couple more. This one is appealing to, again, thinking about the genuine originals and the balanced achievers, some of the things that they are looking for. They're looking for community, connection with the locals, a real experience of the local culture, and then an opportunity for just self-expression. We want to be ourselves and go someplace where everyone else is being themselves.
My intention was to find a place to open a brewery and a small local community, and I was drawn to the Lubeck Eastport area. The concept of what I wanted to have, besides having craft brew, was a place where community come, anybody would feel welcome, a place where people who didn't know each other could sit with each other and have a conversation.
Most of the people who come up here as, quote, visitors or tourists are coming up here because it's off the beaten path and they want to go hiking on quiet trails. They want to walk a beach where they're the only one on it, and they want to sit down in a place like this and have a conversation with someone they've never met. That's a real conversation. I feel like that's where the support's coming from, is because people really appreciate, you know, a space that you didn't realize it was missing until it's there.
I'm going to play another one. Jen, stop me if I'm starting to get tight on time.
You still have about 18 minutes before we hit 11:30. And we started a little bit late too. So I think people are probably going to be willing to continue.
Okay. Okay, and so this video is appealing to folks who are interested in culture and arts and traditional, authentic Maine Down East ways of life.
Creative Stone is our business, and we produce handmade stone products. Yeah, I grew up in an old granite quarry, and our technique is the same technique that was used 100 years ago. And so that's our niche, is we do things by hand. So it's like a hand-hewn beam or a hand-chipped piece of granite. There's no way to mechanize that process.
We try to pick jobs where we can do the fabrication here. So where we're close to home allows us to work with our own material off of our own land, which is really huge for us. It's something that we really value.
My name's Obadiah Buell, and we're at the Granite Garden Gallery in North Sullivan, Maine. I'm a stone sculptor, and my life's work is upcycling stone. And my parents were back to the Landers, Beatniks, who had this dream when they moved here back in '67 of creating an educational center for preservation of historic history, local history, and geology, and sustainability. I first got inspired by an old stone worker who came here probably 35 years ago, and I was just really intrigued about his work, and it was all very rectangular, and then once I learned that you could cut like curves and shapes, I just became infatuated, and starting with a hammer and chisel, and actually really starting with a file and a piece of soft stone. That was the very beginning of my stone sculpture endeavors, which I now teach as an after-school program, and it's available here at the gallery for free. Creating a place that people can come and connect with the land and be creative and have a glimpse into alternative lifestyle. Gets me up at 4:30 every morning running, and I feel really fortunate to be here.
And before I play this next one, I just wanted to jump in and say that part of the purpose of creating these videos was to provide a glimpse to visitors into the real people behind some of these things that they enjoy when they come here, going to the brewery, going to the Granite Garden Gallery, or just seeing some of the products that have been created with stone by these folks. Appealing to that desire for relationship and connection with people and with local life.
I'm Chef La Mason, and I run FET, which is a bespoke hospitality company in Brooklyn, Maine. We were living in New Orleans, and the pull to be here in this area got to be so strong that we just sort of one day, I had been up visiting, we got off the plane, and my husband picked us up, and he was like, I think we need to go home. Part of it is just, I think this area is really special. I mean, I grew up here, and I grew up working on farms here, and I have the benefit, and I have, through training and through my business and through me as a human, like that people trust me enough to say, come do a party in my house. Whatever you want to make, we trust you. Well, that's just about the best feeling in the world. Now I'm going to take that money, my time, my creativity, I'm going to go to my friends and see what do you have that you love, that you want to share? And then I take it and I translate that into whatever the food I'm making is. With Abby going out on the boat and buying her stuff or buying other farmers' stuff, to me, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. I know that the money that I am putting in her hands is actually going to benefit her. And I love that. I love the sort of respect and love for food. I love growing that I get to go out on our boat and see our oysters, and then I'm going to serve them tomorrow. And it's like the pride that I have to serve something that my friend grew is like, it just makes me so happy.
I also want to mention that these videos were produced professionally, and people now, especially very recently, do not expect professional videos. People are posting, impromptu, candid video, and that is appealing to people because it is, again, real life, real connection with real humans. So any of you who want to create videos for your businesses, you do not need to have a large marketing budget. You do not need to hire professionals. And people are probably going to be more interested in seeing your face and hearing you talk about your product, your business. This is the last video. And I wanted to show all of those videos to you and share with you the broadcast ads to give you an example of how Down East Acadia has taken the research that's pertinent to this business and their customers and translated it into marketing pieces that appeal to the types of people who are coming here and the reasons why they're coming here and the potential for future visitors and anticipating what people are going to want as they travel. So again, that experience, that process will be the same for any business, and this is simply the tourism, hospitality, visitation industry. So again, thinking about this is your takeaway. Who is your target market? Who are your customers? Who are your customers? Why are they purchasing the products that they're purchasing? What type of experience do they want through that product, through the purchase? Whether it's a personal relationship with the proprietor, whether it's an emotional connection that product makes them feel, appealing to their nostalgia or desire for something that they want for themselves for the future. Or a physical experience that they want to have. Do they want that singing feeling that Danielle is creating? Do they want activity? Do they want to take a tour? And how are they researching products? How are they researching what they're going to purchase? And how do they make the choice? What is it that's causing them to purchase a specific product? And how do you appeal to their desires to stand out as the best? And how do you translate that into a marketing piece? And that is the end of the official presentation. So now we could take some time to talk, ask questions, and then again, if people want to stay on and learn how to list their business on downeastacadia.com, I will take you through that.
Crystal, I'm going to stop your screen share just so we can get everybody back up on, or all the faces. Whoops. I'm sorry, I don't want to put my screen share up. There we go. Thank you. But and just something else to keep in mind too, sometimes flexibility is really important. I read or started reading an article in the Ellsworth American this morning about the Great Maine Lumberjack Show, Tina's place out in Trenton. She had a wedding the other day. They were planning on going to Ireland to get married in the fall. And because of COVID and travel restrictions, they had to rethink things. So all of a sudden, the Lumberjack Show is putting on a wedding. So, I mean, you never know how things are going to work out.
And they invited the public to come and watch the wedding. So it was pretty cool for the bride and groom.
Yeah, at least they had a nice ample audience for their. Does anyone have any questions? So Sheila, you're on mute. Are you talking? Okay, sorry. So Crystal's going to look at the idea of, where you can get, or looking at the character sets and how to put things together, how to put pieces together for your business. And then travel planning apps that are used most often. Is there anything else that people are looking for resources from this?
Yeah. If we wanted to, I mean, I know we could make our own videos with an iPhone if we need to, but are there any low-cost resources that you're aware of for, someone to come and make a video on our property to show its potential for, say, a small wedding or just for stays?
Hire a local. We do have have more and more people here who are doing videography, and we have many professional photographers. As you know, we have lots of great writers. I think you're probably one of them, Danielle.
Thank you.
So, one way to do this is potentially looking through social media, looking through Instagram and Facebook, and seeing who are the people in the region who are doing, who are creating marketing pieces that you like, who's putting up great video, who's taking great photography, and maybe talk with them. And I say use locals more because, well, for lots of reasons, but one reason for your budget. They're not going to be traveling far. They may not have tons of crazy equipment that they have to pay for. So I would start there.
Okay.
And I can think of a few people off the top of my head, which I would be happy to write down some names of professionals that Down East Acadia uses and knows about.
That would be great. Yeah, if we can afford them. Okay, thanks. Nice presentation, helpful.
Thank you. Danielle, you may consider, and any of you may consider, offering some sort of a trade.
There we go.
Yeah. And some people, like thinking about the media tours, for instance, you could potentially work with people who are in Maine, who you find who do great video, and maybe they want to come up here and spend a few days in your guest house and have a little sort of, you could offer them free lodging in exchange for them spending a couple of days and creating some content for you.
Nice idea. Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else? Okay, so just because I see that we have iPhone Bubba is up on the screen, and I'm assuming that maybe this is Marion Motorsports Park, Bubba Pasco. And there. Hello.
Hello.
Just because I'm very curious, could you tell me, hi, I'm Jen, by the way. Sorry we missed you at the beginning and didn't get an introduction, but I'm very curious about Marion Motorsports Park. Could you give us just a couple lines about what you do?
Well, it's all being proposed. You know, I have to get permits and all that, but I like to make a motorsports park there, like 4-wheels, ATVs, motorcycles. I want to have like off-the-grid cabins, like little places for people to stay, campsites and all that, you know. But it's all, you know, could just be a pipe dream, you know.
So are you familiar with the Washington County TIF program, the Tax Incremental Financing Grant and Loan Program through the county?
I'm not familiar with that, no.
So just because, why don't you give me a call later? We'll chat.
Okay, all right.
Cool. I was going to say my phone number is in the registration materials for this workshop. So if you have a chance, that would be great.
Okay, I
Yeah.
sure will.
Good. So did anyone want Crystal to work with them on helping them to list on the Downey's Tacadia Regional Tourism page and the visitmaine.com website? Danielle? All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. If this next piece is going to be Crystal just working with folks who want to list on those sites. So you're welcome to stay and watch the process if you'd like. If not, then this recording will be online at some point next week. We've got a holiday coming up, so it'll be a few days anyway. And I look forward to seeing folks at the next session. The next one is PTAC 101. So if you're thinking about the idea of selling to the federal government, and just remember that the federal government is like anybody else. They buy everything. They buy blueberries. They send people places and make them stay there or have them stay there. So there are many different options for that opportunity. In fact, I went to a PTAC training session years ago now, and there was a woman who came who was a seamstress. And so the fellow who put on the presentations was going around the audience saying, "Oh, you make toys. You could sell your toys at the commissaries. You do this. You could sell your product there." And got to this woman who was a seamstress and said, "Gee, I'm not coming up with any possible, opportunities for you off the top of my head." She said, "Oh, I've already worked for the government. I made costumes for Moosehorn." So you never know. They buy everything. So if you're considering the idea of expanding into different areas, that's a great workshop opportunity for you. That'll be next Thursday. And after that, we've got the other ones coming up as well. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Crystal. Thanks, Jen.
I'm not hanging up the meeting because Crystal is going to be doing the website stuff. But I am going to stop the recording. So